Well, so the long wait is finally over. If you've been waiting for a Toyota mid-size sedan for a while, then the new Yaris has officially been launched in India. Now, officially this car takes on the likes of the Honda City as well as the Hyundai Verna. But the big question is that, has this car been worth the long wait? Well, that's the question which we'll try and answer by the end of this review. Well, so if you're planning to sell your car first before buying this one, then you should consider Cars24. Visit any of their 50 branches and sell your car at the best price. Not only this, Cars24 will also instantly transfer the money into your bank account and will also take care of all the paperwork, including the RC transfer. So do check out Cars24 today. Well, so Toyota knew that it had to compete with the likes of the Honda City and the Hyundai Verna, which are cars which offer you very luxurious and sumptuous interiors, and Toyota have done a good job with the Yaris. I have good news for you that this car is loaded with features. You get an electrically adjustable driver's seat, which is a real boon. You also get automatic headlamps as well as automatic wipers and cruise control, and you also get 7 airbags right across the range. Well, not only that, you also get very good quality in terms of the materials used over here. This car can easily rival the Hyundai Verna, which is the current class leader for sheer quality, and the top of the dashboard as well as the top of the door panel here is made from soft touch plastics. The steering wheel also isn't overtly big or overtly small, it is the right size. And the gauges also in terms of the design are quite okay. Now, most people might say that they look a little boring and are very run of the mill, but to be honest, Indian preferences are towards the safer side. People in India prefer to be more conservative, and in that sense these gauges will go down well with most Indian buyers. Well, in terms of utility places, you get a couple of beverage holders right over here where I have kept my cell phone and wallet, and you also get large enough door bins to house those big bottles. But the best place to keep these bottles is in the glove box, because the glove box is air cooled. Great for long distance journeys. What's also good for long distance journeys are these seats. They offer you the right amount of cushioning. The support for the lower back is absolutely spot on. Neither is it too firm, neither is it too soft. So it offers you the right amount of cushioning for the lower back, and you also get very good support for your under thighs. And these side bolsters will also go a long way if you decide to push this kind of corners. On the downside though, unlike the Hyundai Verna, these seats aren't air cooled. And another negative inside this car is the fact that the infotainment system's graphics seem to be very outdated, and Toyota could have done a better job with them. And the graphics for the AC controls also look a little from the 90s. So that's something that could be improved, because you are going to spend a decent amount of cash on this car and you want the infotainment, which is an important part these days, to be up to date. Well, so one unique feature which a lot of buyers will truly appreciate on the Yaris is the AC vents, which are mounted here on the roof, unlike its other rivals which have them over here. And these ones will actually cool your face, because the throw of air is very good. And unlike its rivals which really cool your knees, this one will truly cool your face, so you can actually be cool as a cucumber in the summers. Well, so a lot of you will be buying this car simply for the back seat, and I have to say that this car offers you a nice and comfortable experience in the back. Now, the support for the lower back is absolutely spot on. The backrest angle is also very good, and you also get these nice adjustable headrests over here. So if you are someone who wants to laze around in the seats like me, you can easily doze off to sleep. In terms of knee room, it is quite decent in isolation. You also get place below the front seats where you can stretch your feet, and you also get a completely flat floor over here, which means that whoever's sitting in the middle has plenty of place to stretch his feet. Even though the elbow box over here does protrude out, it's not too much of an issue, because there is plenty of place to accommodate whoever's sitting at his feet. Well, if you're someone who always is on his mobile phone, you also get two 12-volt charging points over here, so that's a good thing. And if you have been inside a Toyota Etios ever before, then you will completely forget that car, because unlike that car, the quality and the ambience inside the Yaris is very good, and it really does feel like a high quality and premium car from the inside, unlike the Etios. So yes, this car will completely banish all your Toyota Etios nightmares. Well, so let's talk about the boot, and as you can see, it's a nice boot because it is a wide boot. The aperture also is quite good, and it's also a very deep boot. And even though there is a little bit of a loading still, you can forgive it because it is a very nice and spacious boot. Now, if you have your mother-in-law at home and you want to send her back to the airport, then this boot will easily carry all her luggage, not only for 2 weeks or 3 weeks, but for an entire month. So it is an absolutely sensational boot in that department. But to be honest, if your mother-in-law is at your place for about a month, then it's probably you who needs to be going on a vacation and not her. Now the Yaris will only come with one engine option, that's a 1.5 litre petrol engine. There's no diesel on sale, but the good point is that along with the manual gearbox, you also get the choice of an automatic. It's a CVT automatic gearbox that you can choose, and this engine really is very good not only for refinement but also for responsiveness. Yes, it starts responding from a very low 1200, 1300 RPM in the city, which makes it an ideal car for that start-stop city traffic. And that, coupled with this CVT gearbox that I'm driving at the moment, means that the Yaris probably is the best overall package when it comes to driving in the city. Now, just like the Honda City, you also get paddle shifters over here at the back behind the steering wheel on the Yaris, which make it a very nice car for people who want to feel engaged. In terms of overall driving dynamics, it's not the sportiest sedan in its segment, but remember, people who are buying these cars aren't really buying them for overall sporty handling, but people who buy these cars buy them for their ease of driving as well as no-nonsense comfortable suspension setups, and in that department this car truly does impress. Out on the highway, this car is a whole lot more stable than your ex-girlfriend. It will really stick on the road and offer you great levels of confidence when you're pushing it on the highway doing speeds in excess of 100 kph. And even in the city, the suspension has a soft touch to it. The suspension has been set up towards the softer side, and it really does soak in the bumps quite well. And of course, in the city, when you're going over those rumble strips as well as those badly patched up roads, you won't have to slow down, because this car will really offer you a very cushiony ride. In fact, driving this car in the city, you will get a feeling like you are sitting inside a baby's cradle, and it is just caressing you, because it really does offer a nice suspension setup. Out on the highway, the Yaris does stick very well to the road, and suspension setup, even though it is on the softer side, is quite good on the highway. And no matter what speeds you're doing, if you're doing highway speeds or slow city speeds, the car will keep you comfortable and the suspension will soak in most of those bumps. What you'll also truly appreciate about the Yaris is its gearbox. Now, it is a quick shifting gearbox. Even though it is a CVT, you can always use the manual settings over here, and it is a quick weighted gearbox. Not only is it quick to respond to your inputs when you're going down, it also responds very well when you're shifting up. So it is a nice and quick gearbox, even with the CVT on it. And I have to say that for most users of automatic gearboxes, this is all the gearbox that they will truly ever need. Now, in terms of overall cabin isolation, I really have to say that Toyota have done a fantastic job with this cabin. There's hardly any engine noise. The engine, even when you're revving it hard, is quiet and feels like a very distant murmur. There's hardly any wind noise, and there's absolutely no tire noise entering the cabin. So it really does offer you a very silent ride. Now, in terms of visibility, you get a decent view of the road ahead because you do sit up quite high. The rearview mirror is also quite okay, and the A-pillar also is slant enough to look around it, but the view from the back is a bit compromised, especially considering that there is a big headrest for the central passenger as well. So yes, the view from the back window isn't the best, but that's quite okay because you do get reverse parking cameras if you have to park it into tight spaces. But yes, in terms of the view at the back, it could have been better. Well, so don't think of the Yaris as just another rival to the Honda City and the Hyundai Verna, but think of it as a downsized Toyota Corolla Altis. Yes, this car offers you about 90% of what the Corolla Altis does, but for about 70% of the price. And it offers you a roomy back seat, a refined petrol engine, and the convenience of an automatic. Not only that, being a Toyota means that resale values will be very strong, as will reliability. And what I'm essentially trying to say is that this car really has been worth the wait. It's bye for now, and hope to see you soon.